Hello YouTube, this is Sam from Tigers Schooling. In this session of the video, we're going to talk about the precipitation number. So this question regarding the precipitation number was asked by Mr. Savan Kumar, and he asked about the precipitation number. So before discussing the precipitation number, we must have an idea of what is precipitation. Then we'll be understanding the precipitation number. So first we'll talk about the precipitation. So what is precipitation? Precipitation is actually the creation of solids from a solution. Be with my definition. Precipitation is creation of a solid from a solution. For example, you have got a solution, and solution must be in a liquid form. For example, I have got a solution over here. And when two solutions and they both are in liquid form, when I mix them together, the chemical reaction is going to occur in between them, and some chemical reaction lead to the formation of solid materials, and solid materials are going to come and rest down. So these solid materials which are in liquid and which are formed by the chemical reactions of two liquid solutions is actually called the we get the precipitates. So the product formed, or the solid material which is in the solution which is formed during the reaction, are called precipitate, and the reaction itself is called the precipitation. So again, I go with my definition. The precipitation is actually the creation of a solid from a solution. So what happens when reaction occurs, in liquid solution, the solid formed is actually called the precipitate. We have just talked about it. For example, if we are going to consider an example, we have got a classic example regarding the precipitation, which is silver nitrate, which is actually solution. And in that solution we add the sodium chloride in the liquid form, and finally they react together to form silver chloride. And these are actually, the silver chloride is actually in the white precipitated form. Let me show you the white precipitation, the silver chloride. I have got them in my chemistry lab, so let me bring them back. Nitrate. So here I got the silver nitrate. If I could show you the powder that is in, actually the silver nitrate is actually forming the white precipitate. Let me show you them. Oh my God. If you open the bottle, I have made a small hole in it, and you can see that this is a white powder, which is the silver nitrate, which actually formed by the reaction, which is actually the silver chloride, which is actually formed by the reaction between silver nitrate and sodium chloride, and finally you get the white precipitation. You can see the precipitates in my hand like a powder formed. So this is actually the silver chloride. All right. And similarly, different reactions form different precipitate. For example, I have got the iron, these are iron fillings, these are not precipitate. If we go for the calcium hydroxide, it's again, we have got the white precipitate. If you open the bottle, you can see this powder. So this is also the calcium hydroxide, which is actually formed by different reactions, and the precipitation is the calcium hydroxide. All right, now let's go further on the lecture and talk about the precipitation number, which is the main topic. So let's get it. So if you're looking for the simple definition regarding the precipitation number, and that definition, I would explain the definition in detail, but I'll just put the definition very simple. So in just a second I'll explain the definition in very much detail, because this definition is very short and will make your concept clear regarding the precipitation number. So our definition regarding the precipitation number would be the amount of solid, matter precipitate from oil under under test. So what does that mean? We are performing a test between different solutions. For example, we take an example of an oil, and we'll be going through a standard test of oil to find out the precipitation number of that oil. So our simple definition is the amount of solid, which is the one that is a precipitate, matter precipitated from oil, which is a solution. We just take a solution in liquid form, which we take it under test. If you put the under test, it's okay. Or whether you get it, the precipitation is very simple: the amount of solid matter precipitated from oil or the solution. So I'll explain. Now I have to explain in detail what does that mean. So what happens? If you again going to explain the precipitation number, you must say the precipitation number of an oil. You be with my words, because I'm not gonna might not be going to write them down, but stay with my words or copy them so you can get the full definition and full understanding of the precipitation number. So be with me. The precipitation number of an oil is a measure of the amount of solids. And what are those solids? You can classify them as asphalts or carbon residues contained in the oil. For example, we have got an oil. We have got an oil in which we have different solids. For example, we could have asphalt, or we have the carbon residues which are in the solid form, which we cannot easily get them out because maybe they are suspended in the solution. So to get them out, to precipitate them, we have to go through the centrifuging, right? So what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna repeat everything again. The precipitation number of an oil is the measure of amount of solids, which are asphalts or carbon residues in the oil. So the number is reached when a known amount of oil is diluted with naphtha and the precipitate is separated by centrifuging. The volume of separate solids equal precipitation number. So what happens? You're going to take an oil. We have got precipitants in the oil. We have got different solid materials in it. We're going to centrifuge it, and after that the solid materials we're going to get out of it are actually and how much we're going to get, and we're going to measure it through some calculations, and that would be our precipitation number. So the precipitation test, why we do the precipitation test? So we actually do this precipitation test because this test actually detects the presence of foreign materials, like we have talked about the solid materials which was in that oil. In the foreign materials which is used in oil. So an oil, so what were you gonna say? An oil with high precipitation number may cause trouble in an engine. Why is going to cause trouble in engine? Because we want only solution that is in liquid form. If any solid is going to disturb us, precipitate solid, just get it, precipitate or solid which is going to disturb us, disturb the engine, so engine may not going to work properly. So the lower the precipitation number is the better one. So as the precipitation number goes higher, it's going to cause a problem in engine if you're considering in oil. So it also, and finally it's going to leave deposits or plug up valves and pumps. It's going to be form and collect and kind of block over valves or pumps which we are using to extract or use the oil in engine, which may have a high precipitation number. So it's going to be a big problem. So this is it, very easy idea to grasp. Precipitation number, you must understand what is precipitation. If you're going to give an exam, you must answer the precipitation, what is precipitation, then go through the solution, suspension and precipitate, give an example of the precipitation reaction, and finally you go through the precipitation number and give this simple definition. And as you write down the detail, you must go through and write down what I have just told you. What if you're going to do a reaction for using oil or some other material. And that's it for today. Please keep visiting Tigers Schooling. And one thing more, if you haven't visited our site, which is www.tigerschooling.com, please make sure to visit it and read our latest blog. Our latest bloggers, they write very well. So we actually have an educational channel, so we want to promote education as far as further. And if you're interested in medical videos and blogging or anything else, please make sure to leave an email to us, so we make sure that you get good knowledge and grasp a good knowledge of whatever you read. Thank you. Keep visiting Tigers Schooling.